Taurus, hi, it's Erin Scott here. So today is the day. It's Saturday, May 12th, and I'm starting with you because your new moon is coming up in a few days on the 15th. And it's a big day, and it's very symbolically appropriate in so many ways. So I just did a live stream with my patrons this morning, and we went a bit in depth about it. But the brief overview is Uranus moves into Taurus on this Taurus new moon, and it is exacerbating, it's making stronger, it's re-emphasizing the power of the next 7-year cycle of theme for the up-leveling, for the shifting, shaking, and up-leveling of manifest form. So there's a whole new relationship with manifest form to the earth, to our bodies, to physical matter that is unfolding, okay? Now, in addition to that, now what I'm doing here, for those of you that are new to my channel, I'm going to be channeling some artwork coming through. So at the new moon portal, it is a new seeding time. You know, it's nature's way. So we're going to tap into the Taurian archetypal growth, natural. What is it that might be catalyzing a growth edge for you over the course of this month ahead? Now, the Sabian symbol that's imbued at this 24-degree, 36-minute point that the sun and moon is conjunct in Taurus on the 15th is a vast public park. And we'll talk more about that as I go. But right now I'm going to go ahead and tap in and see what wants to come for you. I have some gouache paints here. Okay, and I also have my charcoal pencils, so we'll see what wants to come, okay? And what I typically do is I just, I kind of let it ride. So let's see what wants to come here. I have some different colors that I pulled, by the way, as well. Slightly different. I have a different green and I have a different yellow that I'm using this time. So I hope you can see everything, Taurus. It looks like you can. The sun's pretty good right now. The light is pretty good, so. So everyone, it is an intense time. We're continuing. The next 7 years will be very intense. It's important, critical, especially now with this Uranus ingress into Taurus, to maintain your body system. Really be mindful of your diet. Really be mindful of your vehicle, your body. It wants your attention. It wants your love and attention and attention to its functionality, to its well-being, you know. Okay. Also your spiritual practice. It's critical to stay grounded. And it's a good time to start. Now, for those of you who already know and are following me, I'm doing what's called a May Mastery recalibration. So I did a fast at the beginning of May, and then I have been doing a vegan diet, largely living foods. It's largely raw, mostly raw. Today I had vegan nachos, which was mostly cooked, but I've been doing mostly raw. And for anybody that wants to follow my wild food foraging or my living food diet that I'm doing this month, I've done it many times before, but I'm doing it again now because my body needed a recalibration. You can follow me on Instagram, and the link is below. I'm posting daily there. Okay, Taurus. So let me just tap in here, and then we'll talk about what's coming through. I also have a growth edge card. I'm gonna pull my Siri deck, my own deck, and we're gonna pull a card there to see what a prime growth edge is for you during this particular monthly cycle for you. So we obviously have grass here, which is not unusual because we're here in the spring. In the northern hemisphere, we're here in the spring. But there's definitely new growth emerging for you. Over the course of the cycle, there's something emerging for you. And this, I feel pretty done, but there might be something else that wants to emerge. So I'm just going to put this down for a moment. Let's take a look at it. So Taurus, this began it. I mean, essentially this red kind of underline and sweeping motion. So this looks pink right now, but this is a red paint that was picked. Clearly, I mean, there's energy here in the red, and there's energy happening for you. Number one, it's your new moon. Number two, Uranus is ingressing into your sign over the course of this new moon cycle. So it's re-emphasizing matter. It's re-emphasizing physicality. And it's emphasizing Taurus movement. Why? Because this is like this. Do you see how that kind of moved? So there's motion, there's action. Again, unsurprising, right? So the red is there, symbolizing movement, but also the movements itself. What ultimately ended up coming, though, the last unit was, or the last kind of piece here was this green underline, a cup, a holding. And what I get from this is that the growth that's occurring for you now over the course of this month, but again, I have to say, I think that we're really tapping into your next 7-year cycle of growth. So there's something on a microcosmic level here that's the month theme for your growth, but I have to say, I think we're definitely tapping in also to the next 7 years. This green here representing growth, representing knowledge and wisdom, education, representing peace, calmness, grounding. You're held. Even though initially there's movement, and even though, yes, in the past or underneath you there's been movement, there's a holding, there's a peace, there's a containment. And what I get is that a lot of you are actually accessing, over the course of this month ahead and for the next 7-year cycle, you're able to access a way by which you hold your sanity. A way of holding, and it's almost like that fixed nature, the earth sign Taurus with its fixed nature of operating. It will be shaken, it will be catalyzed for movement, but there's a grace, there's a peace, there's an ease. A lot of you are going to be able to access a new maturity, a new way of grounding yourself. That's what I get here, and that ended it. So this was the beginning and this was the end. Okay, so there's a grounding, there's movement for you, but, all right, Now let's take a look at this. It started with these forms here, bright ochre yellow. In fact, the color, let me see, it's not the Naples and it's not raw sienna. It's yellow ochre, okay? So the name of the paint, the name of the gouache paint is yellow ochre. Started with this upward sweep, another sweep coming from it, and then another sweep not really connected to it. And what I get is that there's new momentum over the course of this month, mid-May to mid-June. There's new momentum, and there's new, let's say, birth, new joy. We're talking about yellow. Again, third chakra, your will, your identity, your persona, but it's also how you emanate. It's like your solar emanation. There's upward movement, there's some growth, there's something that pushes your, let's say, identity even. For some of you that are doing work in the world, public work in the world, engaging with the public, it could be that there's some new engagement with people, with the public at large, with the work that you do. And it's bringing you joy. And there's an organic nature to it. Even the quality of the brush strokes here, there's kind of almost a grace. There's speed, swiftness, efficiency is what I get. So there's efficiency with this upward movement of your identity coming forward. And there's joy associated with it. Now, underneath it, there's these two birds that ended up emerging, okay? Like flying seagulls or flying birds of some sort. They did want to be black, and the black for me is the unconscious aspect of self, and it could be that unconsciously, or at least subconsciously, a lot of you are flying. You're starting to fly now. There is momentum building for your own flight, okay? That's happening now, but that's going to happen. That's going to continue. There's two birds, and this is talking for me about partnership. It's talking about collaboration. It's talking about cooperation. It's talking about, let's say, two halves of your whole. It's talking about right and left hemisphere of the brain. There might be a connection here with the corpus callosum that is the seat of the soul. It might be that there's more of the linear analytic aspect of mind melding with your emotional intuitive, and I'm getting a lot of chills with that, so that's hitting home for some of you out there, okay? So there's some collaboration, there's a merging that's flying, it's starting to take flight, but for some of you it might still be unconscious, that you're not actually really awake to the processes that are uplifting you now, but something is motivating action, something is taking flight within yourself, okay? Within. Here, these kind of upward, swift, efficient emanation movements are connected to this circle, the sphere, that's filled with this darker, like a raw, what was this color? A burnt sienna, okay? This burnt sienna color here. So there's something here, there's like a pod, there's a seed, there's a strong earthy, we're talking browns and golds here. So there's kind of this, what I want to say is this might represent something earthy and physical, like something that you've already started building. So something here is maybe even growing. So in the middle here, this raw sienna might be talking about something that's already been starting or building or being made manifest by you in your life. And this month ahead and for the next 7 years, what's activated is the seed that you grew or have been fertilizing in recent months and recent years prior to this spring of 2018. This is starting to build, it's starting to grow. And this month and in the next 7-year cycle, there's growth happening. And it is telling me, it's reflective of joyful aspect of self. It's not that you're not going to be without disruption or without movement. The Taurian narrative, everything fixed, material, and rigid will be shaken up for freedom, for its evolved iteration. And you are no different. So you're going to feel shifts and changes. But this is beautiful, Taurus. I love this for you. Here, grass is growing. Okay, so obviously we're talking new growth. We're talking springtime. We're talking sun. We're talking delight. You know, there's an ease. There's a childlike innocence with grass. It's soft. It's comfortable. It gives us something to stand on that comforts our feet. Our grounding, our connection to the world is helped by grass. It's softened by grass. It's cooled by grass. It's not like stepping on hot white concrete or hot black asphalt, you know. So there's something soft here that I think you're going to sense, that it's almost like, again, you're going to be held. I do feel, Taurus, that there's some sort of a grace or some sort of grounding, a new way by which you're able to connect within yourself. That's what I'm getting, okay? Now, with the grass here, you can see these spirals, right? So there's growth. There's even a pinnacle of growth up here. You can see this kind of top point here. So there's some pinnacle, some new growth, something that really you're reaching up to over the course of the cycle. And here you have more growth. Some of them are darker. Do you notice that? Some of the green grasses are darker, some are lighter. So there's going to be different things, different levels of your life, family, friends, work, place, location, home, all these different aspects of self. There's growth, either in the background that's already been beginning, it's a little bit faded, or new growth, which is just upshooting, the darker, smaller grass elements here. But from the grass bed, you can see these spirals, which is beautiful. Spiral, spiral, and here into another spiral. This is like the sacred geometry, you know, embedded within natural systems. We're talking some organic movement of your evolution is taking form. It's taking place. It's happening. Love it. It's happening. And you can see these kind of offshoots here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10, Taurus. So this is beautiful because 10 is about a completion point, you know, certainly in the tarot, it's the archetype of completion. And it's also the binary code, you know, it's like ones and zeros. So you have 1, which is the individual, and you have 0, which is God force, potential, consciousness, the source field, right? So it's individual and the whole. That's what 10 is. And the fact that 10 is here for you with this growth, with the spiraled evolution, for me, is talking about there's some level at which you've culminated, or you've graduated, or you're coming back to yourself. There's a connection of your individuation and your connection to source. There's something coming together for you, Taurus, this month. And over the course of the next 7 years, yes, you know, you're going to have, what do I want to say? For the next 7 years, you are moving through some sort of a graduation cycle. That's what I want to say. Okay. And love it. Invite it. Don't fight it. Don't resist it. The resisting to what is for your natural evolution is the suffering, and it's time to be free. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead. These are my cards, the Siri deck. A lot of you might remember these. I used to use these, you know, all the time a couple years ago. One thing that I'll say as I'm pulling this growth edge here for you is there's a garden out behind me here. And one of my neighbors, my neighbor here in the building, he's out tilling the garden, and he's maybe planting today. How appropriate, because I wasn't actually planning to do your reading today, but perfect timing, you know. So Taurus, let's see what the growth edge is for you. For those of you interested in diving deep, I do deep work with clients. I work one-on-one with clients around the world. lots of good feedback that I've gotten from my work with people. For those interested in diving deep into your soul structure, into understanding it, seeing the rest of what I offer here, or to get your own art channeling to see what wants to come through, you can go to the alchemyofholism.com. Okay. Wow, Taurus. Okay, so let's see if you can see the card. It's divination. It's divination. Now, the divination card here, you can see this is a Harry Potter image here for my cards, right? The divination card does not have to talk about, it doesn't have to refer to divination as such, tapping into the field to collect information and bring it through, but it can. So whether it be tarot, whether it be nature, paying attention to nature, paying attention to life, all living systems speak. They have language. If we are open to it, we hear it, right? So divination can talk about that. It can be connecting to the field and to bring information through, but it can also be just your spirituality. And I think too, I have to tell you, I do feel, because it's coming up really strongly for me to start sharing more on the public channel here. This is also talking about your spiritual ritual. Even though this says divination, what I want to say to you is, I feel that this is also talking about your spiritual ritual. It is of utmost importance for you to stay grounded for this cycle, for the month and for the next 7 years. It is just of utmost importance to everybody, but especially to the fixed signs, of which you are one. So in order to become malleable, allowing, and resilient with the shifts and changes that will be occurring, it's not if, it's when, it is critical that you ground. And I think the divination card, in fact, let me go ahead and put it up here. I do feel that this divination card could be talking very specifically to you about connecting to spirit, connecting to your higher, which lives within, and also connecting to the greater holistic sphere of reality, which is the information field, the source field. Very important. And in addition to that, to do so in a way that imbues, that incorporates a daily ritual, a daily spiritual ritual. Okay? Very important. Like, I don't think I can even emphasize it enough. To get your body right, to get your mind right, and to get your spirit right, now is the time. It's not coming, it's here. We're in it. This is it. We're on the surfboard and the big wave is coming. So it's about getting grounded and being serious about it, being disciplined about it, being resolute about understanding your thoughts, because it's all about your mind. What is out there is really all in here. So it's a matter of getting real clear and real accountable real fast. So for those of you that have been doing the work, fabulous, because this is going to be, it could be even a fun ride. It doesn't have to be devastating. We are going to see some things happen on the planet that could be perceived as really negative, but we could also understand that there's a bigger story playing out, and we can ride the wave and actually have some beautiful expansion experiences in this next 7-year cycle. So I honor and love all of you, and I can't emphasize enough how important it is for you to get clear, get accountable, get responsible, get mature. It's time, it's time, it's time. Okay? So be in touch if you want to learn more, or if you want to become a patron. My patrons, every week we have live streams and have chats and connect. And we talk about the week ahead with guidance and talking about the astrology and the symbology of the week ahead. So for those of you interested, you can check the link below. All right. Happy weekend, everybody. Happy Mother's Day, too. To all the mothers out there, happy Mother's Day. I am offering Mother's Day specials, too. So if you go to the Alchemy of Holism /Mothers-Day, you're going to see some goodies if you want to get a gift certificate for your mom, or if you feel like you deserve something as a mother, there's some offerings on there, okay? Sending you all much love. Bye-bye. See you next month.